Everybody, is it just me? Or did we blink and it's already February? I mean, like really, uh, we just had New Year's celebration and here we are in February, middle of February. It is just flying by. Time is just flying by. Have you ever had one of those days where you're getting everything done and you're feeling like boss and you're like, bam, and then it's dinner time, or in my case, it's bedtime. And you're like, wait, where did the time go? Right. Well, let's talk about that. I just got six things, 6 points or something like that. I like to kind of, run by you. Right. Number one is like you're riding the momentum train, and you're wondering where does the time go? Well, I think the time flies when you're in flow. You know, it's like that magical feeling that when you look up and you're like, ideas are popping and you're making things happen, whether it's working on a project or creating content or building something new, which is always the case with me, all of the above. And you get in the zone, it's like you have to pull yourself away to go do other stuff. Or in my case, I got to pull it on my calendar, right? You know, it's what happens when I think you're in the zone and you're in the flow. Some days I look up and all of a sudden I'm like, where did the time go? Today's one of those days. I was in a bonus session today, and I was like, it was so good. Like I just lost track of time. I forgot that my butt was hurt because I was sitting in the chair for so long. Well, when was the last time you were in the zone and you forgot about time? You even forgot that it existed. You're like, what time? I'd love to hear from you. You can put that in the comments. Chasing big dreams, the thrill of getting stuff done. That's exciting. And sometimes when you're chasing that dream, it becomes so enthused, right? I remember when I first started the gratitude movement and all these hundreds of people daily, thousands every week, were just coming in. And I was just so excited, man. I was interviewing people to become volunteers. I was running the rooms. I was setting everything up, and just the days just seemed to like mesh into one, and it was exciting. And when it's exciting, it feels like it's nonstop action. And then one day I looked up, and here we are, 4 years later. Every single day, 365 days a year, we've been asking the question, what are you grateful for? So I ask you, what's one big thing you're chasing right now that makes you lose track of time? What's that big thing for you? Some days I think the clocks are playing tricks on me. I think success makes time feel faster, because it shows how when things are not going so great, they're like, oh man, I wish it would hurry up, right? Oh man, I'm dying here. But when you're in the zone and things are happening, it's not that we don't have challenges and things to show up that we don't want to do. There's things that I don't want to do that I have to do anyway. I don't necessarily want to get up and go to the gym every day, but I do. Sometimes, accounting is not my favorite thing, but there's times I got to do it. I got to make copies of receipts. I got to do stuff that I don't really care for. I think as we hit levels, we realize that we need to get like an assistant or something. But when you're achieving a goal and you're actually working towards it and you can see it, it feels amazing. And it makes it feel like time speeding up. But I guarantee you, I promise you, there's only 24 hours in a day, and it doesn't really change, right? It hasn't changed in forever. So there'll always be 24 hours in the day. But when you're in the zone, it feels like there's only like 10 hours in the day because everything goes by so fast. I think it's because you're constantly moving from one thing to the next. It's just one big game of what's next. And when you're doing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, you're flowing. So let me ask you a question. Did you ever hit a goal and before you know it, you're celebrating and you're on to the next thing? Right? Yeah. But sometimes I think we got to pause. We got to pause the hustle and like savor the wins in that moment without losing our groove, without losing our momentum. And that's one of the things that my accountability partner and I do. is every week, we meet once a week, and we start our conversation out, what were the wins since we last spoke? And we kind of recap those wins. Because I think it's important to celebrate those moments where we're getting stuff done, we're achieving our results, and we're working towards it. Because, yeah, there are moments, like I said before, that, it's like, oh, man, this is like so painful. I got to do this stuff. But we got to push through it. And having those wins is a reminder that we're actually making progress and that we're seeing the journey happen as we're moving forward. So it's important to push that pause button and celebrate those wins and enjoy them and savor them. Because the small wins and the appreciation of those wins is what fuels the long-term momentum. And I got to tell you, some days when I think of all the wins, I'm like, whoa, dude, you had a lot of wins. And I'm thinking, oh, it's not that much, and they're like, no, you did. You accomplished a lot. So what's one win this week that you need to pause and celebrate right now? Just stop and think about it. What's something that you did last week or over the weekend that you could really celebrate right now, and celebrate it with fun? Yeah. So celebrate that thing. The next thing is future focus, fun, right? How to balance big goals with present joy, right? Because, sometimes well, let's tell you a little story about, my big goal, my big dream. When I started the gratitude movement, I think maybe about 6 months in, a year, I decided before we became a nonprofit that it was maybe when we became a nonprofit. This is about 3 years ago. It's about 2 years ago. I decided I wanted to impact the lives of 2+ billion people. And some people were like, "Are you serious? Are you for real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to impact the lives." And they were like, "Wow, that's a lot of people." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but it's a big dream." And this weekend we had our leadership meeting, and I got to. And this is where the celebration comes in, and you kind of bring balance and you kind of get present to where you're at. Where some members of our leadership team, I led the way, lead by example. We shared, like, what does this really mean to you? Being in the gratitude movement, daily gratitude movement, we call it DGM. What does it really mean? And shared, I was very emotional about it, because when you stop and you think about the impact that you're having and the difference that you're making for many people, and then your team shares the impact that it's had on them and the impact that they're seeing in other people's lives, it gets pretty emotional pretty quick. And so for us in that moment, it was a time to celebrate what we're doing, because we do have a long road ahead of us. We do got a lot of work to do. And those meetings are the best ones that we have, when we're not focused on the activities of what we need to get done, but we are focused on the appreciation and the joy that we're creating in ourselves. So, what's one thing you're grateful for today, even while chasing those big goals? I know for me, I'm grateful for the people that show up in my life that are helping to create something bigger than ourselves, that are helping to build a legacy that's beyond anything that we could ever imagine, to make a difference in people's lives that don't even know about us. We're about to launch in about a month, and April 5th, we're about to launch a program called Sparks of Gratitude for adolescents. And we got retired teachers helping out. We've got psychologists helping us. And we're going to be doing gratitude rooms for adolescents to help them to have this powerful journey, to have this impact in their life. I don't know anything. That's pretty cool in my mind. So what's one thing for you? What's one big thing that you're chasing? What's your goal? And what are you grateful for? Our time is our time. And where did the day go? Sometimes is the question I ask myself, where did the day go? I look at what I created and I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize I was even capable of doing that. And then there are days where I'm just like, nothing happens. But when I look at what I've created, just even today, the notes that I took, I was in this thing, and I got pages of notes. Did this course, pages and pages of notes. I get these little brown books and I put my notes in here. Pages and pages of notes today. Clarity on some projects that I'm working on, some insights into what it is that I need. And I think when I have days, I don't have days like days every single day, but lately it seems like, if there's 7 days in a week, which they are, there's some weeks where I feel like 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4 are just blurs. Like I have to pause myself to go stop and do other activities. So I'm excited. This stuff really excites me. You can feel like time is flying and still feel proud of what you're doing and what you're building. And so for me, doing this live with you today is one of those moments where I take time to celebrate what I'm doing right now. Because ensuring where I am in my life with you, it helps me to stop and pause and to celebrate. So I just want to say thank you for, if you made it this far, thank you for being here with me. And yeah, sure, the day flew by. But look at what you've made, happen. Look what I've made happen. How do you want to feel at the end of your day tomorrow? Hey, time might fly, but that's just proof that you're out making things happen. And when we're making things happen, it's incredible. So what's one thing that you want to crush today or you crushed today? If it's some people it's morning, but also, what's one thing that made you wonder where did the time go by? Because if that's the case for you, it means that you're probably in the zone and you're doing something that you love. So drop a comment in the chat of something that you crushed, something that you're making happen in your life. Share it with us. Now, we're all friends here, all right? So I hope that this moment inspired you. I'm enjoying doing these things. I think I'm in my 2nd year of daily lives. And I'm getting a little bit better. I did this before and the microphone wasn't even turned on. I'm talking to myself and I forgot to turn the mic volume up so I could hear myself. So I had to do it all over again. It happens. It happens, especially when I'm excited. Lately, I noticed when I get really excited, it's like I practically just lose track of stuff. I mean, things that are so obvious that are in front of me, I'm like looking like, what? I can't believe you did that, Garth. How could you not turn the volume up on the microphone? Or, different things, you're like, oh, man. But that's what happens when you're in the zone and you're excited and time's flying by in your life. So I hope time's flying by for you. And if it's not, ask for it. Ask for the universal intelligence that, whatever you believe to give you the excitement and the enthusiasm to get through it. And if it's not, and then it's not. It's okay. There was a period where I didn't have anything to look forward to. My days were like, damn, man, it's only 6 o'clock. Oh my God, I want to go to sleep so I can wake up tomorrow. I had that period in my life. And I got through it, and here I am today, busier than ever before. So have a wonderful night. Take care, everybody.